Our focus at Decisions is sort of taking what Microsoft has already built, what you already have access to from your subscriptions to Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365, and extend those and get them to integrate a bit better for the purposes of organizing meetings.
Hello, my name is Kelly Holland. I am a parish clerk to a small parish council in Essex. I've been a clerk now for 13 years. We have an electorate of just over 1,100, 9 councillors, and at present we have a precept of just over £46,000. Modernising the council was something that was really quite important to me. I'm very much someone who likes to be organised, everything in its own little place. So it was important that I could do that with my council, who aren't necessarily as susceptible to change as I would like them to be. But the main reason for that was to try and streamline my work, give myself more time to actually spend on the projects that needed more time on, and reduce that time commitment on the kind of day-to-day aspect of the job. The decision software showed me a completely new way of working that would address my issues and my challenges in relation to time. Creating the agendas and the paperwork and everything it's creating a huge time commitment for me that I knew needed addressing, but I didn't know what the solution was. So actually seeing this in action, how decisions would work and how it would actually create that agenda pack for me. I've been doing it personally myself in a more as I said, a longer way around, which I've done through Word and also from screenshotting PDFs and trying to fit them in and trying to make sure that they're accessible as well. And it has been a huge drain on my time. So the actual decision software showed that the time spent creating the agendas and the associated packs could be dramatically decreased for me. And there was this software package that did it for me. So to me, that was me. I was kind of sold on it just from that perspective. But in addition, it also gave you the opportunity to create a draft template for your minutes, where it just carried the information from the agenda over to the minutes document. So it was your minutes are almost half written before you even go to write your minutes, which I really liked the idea of. And also the decisions made within the meeting could then be put into Microsoft Planner as well, which I currently do that in a different system. So all these steps that I do myself, one particular piece of software could do for me, which I thought was really, really helpful. So that's the main things that sold me on it.
Hello, and thank you very much for joining us today for our virtual summit on how councils are building and sharing the modern agenda pack digitally. My name is David Hall, and I'll be your host today for the next 45 minutes as we run through with our partner Decisions how councils are building the modern agenda pack using Microsoft 365, distribute it to their councils and follow up all those important agenda items. So as you know, here at Cloudy, we've had a really busy session of a virtual summits working with our partners, vendors and customers to really modernise the sector. And we're really looking forward to an exciting session here today with our partner Decisions. Today we have Maya and Peter from Decisions. Guys, how are you doing?
Very well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a really busy 45 minutes of just running through the product, which we think is really useful and very exciting to be launching it, obviously, here in the UK with our partners yourselves. And we're seeing already a lot of councils use this product already. And hopefully today is going to be really useful for those councils that know that they need to do something more digitally engaging, that works better to send that agenda pack to their councillors. So thanks very much. I know we're going to run through it in a minute, but first of all, we'll just run through what the session is going to look like today. So first of all, I'll be doing a short introduction and introducing our digital levelling up agenda. agenda. Then Maya will be basically talking through the different features of decisions, what it does and how it works. And then Peter will be doing a live demonstration of the product end to end, highlighting all those key points and showing you how it actually works. We've got a short Q&A and then we'll be closing the session after that. If people do have any questions, do you please send them in? We're really excited to ask our experts about the product. So if you've got any questions, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube, please write them in the comments and we'll ask the experts a bit later on. So this year we have a really busy agenda. This is part of our digital leveling up agenda. We are working with councils and vendors and partners up and down the country to modernise the sector. Launched at the Practitioners Conference back in February at the SLCC Practitioners Conference. We had Linda Chandler, the Executive Local Government Lead for Microsoft, talk about smart parishes, smart cities, and obviously what we're starting to see in the sector as we're coming out of COVID. And all these things are so important. So if you get a chance, do go and look at that session by Linda. So just quickly, some of the things that Cloudy does, what makes us an expert in the sector. We do applications for the local government, all built on the Microsoft Power Platform to run key services such as allotments, buildings, asset registers, etc. So we do apps built on the Power Platform. We also do agenda pack solutions with our partner Decisions, and that's what we'll obviously be talking about today. We do IT support training as well for councils. We do broadcasting of council meetings. That's work with partners like Logitech, Optima and Microsoft. We can put in systems for your council chamber. And then we do web accessibility. So we have a lovely web accessible tool that allows you to pass all those strict government legislation around that. So as you can see, really busy, some great services we provide. But today we're really grateful, really happy to be talking about building the modern agenda pack with our partner Decisions. So Maya, are you there?
I'm there.
Excellent. So obviously today I know you're going to be going through this. It's going to be a short 20-minute session walking through the pros and cons. Really looking forward to seeing this myself. I always learn something new when I see this, but otherwise I'll just leave it to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me well. It's great to be here. My name is Mia Legner, and I work as a digital meeting specialist at Decisions, which is a modern meeting solution that aims to make meetings the most productive part of your day. So today I will share with you our built-in solution in Microsoft and Teams that will help make the daily meeting life of a councillor or clerk become more efficient and seamless. I will first be presenting an overview and then a step-by-step of how Decisions works and how exactly this solution can be used by officers and clerks in their everyday life to build and share the modern agenda pack, as well as run and follow up hybrid meetings. So as David mentioned, I have Peter Franz with me today. He's one of our product experts to show you some of the key features I will go through live of Decisions in Microsoft Teams. First of all, the perhaps best thing about Decisions is how tightly integrated it is with Microsoft Office 365 and Microsoft Teams. These are systems and apps most of you councillors are already familiar with and use on an everyday basis. Overall, the way Decisions help councils with managing meetings are with a feature that you see listed on the slide here. With a meeting pack generation, you can create and collaborate on agendas, prepare for meetings by attaching files, make personal notes, comments, and send out your supporting papers in what we call a meeting book with very few steps. You can run better meeting with speaker list, time tracker, and live votes during Teams meetings. You get a dashboard for the council clerk or a meeting administrator for a full overview of meetings and agendas with being able to edit, create tasks, and minutes of the meeting. Also, with the support of electronic signatures through Adobe, reviewing and signing the minutes have never been easier. So if you can please move to the next one. Yes, thank you. This is an overview of how Decisions works and collaborates or interacts with different Microsoft apps and solutions. So first you start with creating your meeting in Microsoft Teams or in Outlook, and then proceed to start building your agenda in the same place. And it can be done either in Teams or in Outlook. Then you start preparing for the meeting with sharing the agenda pack with your topics, attached documents, or a meeting book, and can review the materials and start preparing for the meeting. Information about the meeting is stored in either Microsoft SharePoint or OneDrive, and this is something you set up every time you start creating a new agenda. The meeting engagement score evaluates the readiness and quality of a meeting, and you can follow how this score improves over time. The next step is then running the meeting, and you can automatically merge all data from the agenda into the minutes of the meeting, and that you can create in either Microsoft OneNote or Microsoft Word. And then the minutes can be sent for signing or reviewing directly from the same place. The last step is to track and follow up tasks, votes, and other action items from your meeting. And these are easily synced and tracked through Microsoft Planner or Excel. So with this overview in mind, I'm going to go more detailed into the different steps and show you how decisions can help a counselor in their everyday life. So the first step is to start building your agenda pack. And naturally, you would want to start by choosing the meeting you need an agenda for directly in Teams or in Outlook. And then you want to build your agenda. The image that you see here is a screenshot of how your agenda looks like in Teams with decisions. You can easily add new topics, either from scratch or from a template, and choose whether the topic is for discussion, for information purposes, or for making a decision. Then you proceed to assign presenters to each agenda item and attach the files you want to be discussed in the meeting that the participants should prepare for. Then you add how long you want every agenda item to be discussed, and the time tracker in Teams will notify you when your time is running out. The next step is to publish and distribute the agenda. So you can share and distribute the agenda directly from decisions in Teams or in Outlook, and that can be done through either email or be posted in a Teams channel. There will be a button called Suggest Agenda Item, as you can see in the picture here, that allows team members to suggest topics for discussion. And when you share or publish the agenda, the attendees will get a link to or get a full view of the agenda. You can also very easily, with just 2 steps, create and distribute your supporting papers in what we call a meeting book that includes and merges all agenda items, documents, tasks, and decisions in a PDF document that can be distributed to your meeting attendees. So the goal is, of course, to get your attendees to prepare well for the meeting. So by distributing the agenda or the meeting book, people can read, make private notes, comment, and prepare for the meeting, or just the part of the meeting where they are presenting. The decisions dashboard gives the meeting administrator a meeting engagement score, which is a smart percentage score, and it's quite unique score based on how detailed your agenda is and how many attendees have clicked on the agenda, made suggestions, and overall prepared for your meeting. And you can watch this score develop over time, and you can follow how that score improves as well. During the meeting, the annotator can take notes, assign follow-up tasks, or note down decisions directly into the agenda builder in the dashboard, or do it directly in the meeting minutes. So what you can see on this slide here is how your Teams meetings looks with decisions. What you can notice is that on the top bar, there's the decisions logo that looks like the letter D. And what happens when you press that is that you get a full overview of today's agenda. If you press an agenda item, you will get to see, as shown in the picture on the left, you will get to see a full description of the agenda item, as well as all attached documents. And those are accessible throughout the whole meeting for all participants. I don't know if it's too small to see, but on the bottom right side, you can see that decisions tracks how many minutes are left of this agenda topic and what the name of the next topic is. Also, this last feature is optional, but decisions can help you with a time tracker that will pop up when there's 1 minute left of that agenda topic to alert you or notify you that there's 1 minute left and you need to start wrapping up to help you keep track of time. If we move on to the next one, I wanted to show you how our speaker list feature works. What you can see in this picture is a Norwegian municipality using decisions in a Teams meeting and using the speaker list for discussing different topics and keeping track of who raises their hands and in which order. This feature also allows you to ask for a timeout or give a remark as to comment on someone who is speaking. When you're ready to pass the word to the next speaker, you simply press next. That is, as this is all in Norwegian, this will be visible to you in English, of course, but this is an example with Norwegian writing. But it's the button with the green icon, and you press next. And if you click to the next one, David, that's you can see with how the queue looks. People who have politicians who are finished speaking and who are next on the list. So this is an example of a different Norwegian municipality using the same feature in their Teams meeting with decisions. I also wanted to show you how the Vote Now feature works. So if you move to the next one, here it is. This shows how a live vote works and looks like in a Teams meeting with decisions. So what you can see here is different politicians that belong to different political parties voting for and against a subject. At the bottom, you can track live who has voted. And this is something you can set up in your decisions dashboard. You can choose whether you want the vote to be completely open, like in this example, or you can choose for it to be completely anonymous or partly anonymous. It is also possible to vote directly through and from the meeting chat in Teams, or you can do the vote by email or in the Decisions mobile app, which I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. So we're moving on to the third step, which is to create the meeting minutes. This is a crucial part for you councillors, and I believe this is the feature that will save you the most amount of time in addition to creating the agenda pack. So you can forget all about manual copy, paste, and hours of writing, because creating the meeting minutes with decisions is a really simple process. You just press Create Meeting Minutes in your dashboard and can choose between Word or OneNote. Then what decisions do is that it's actually automatically merge all data from the meeting into the minutes, including all tasks and decisions made. Many annotators or clerks choose to create the minutes as soon as the meeting starts and make all annotations, tasks, decisions, etc. directly into the minutes. But it's possible to do it first in your dashboard and then merge everything into the minutes as well. The clerk can then send the meeting minutes for review directly from Word. Then you can co-author, edit, and comment directly into the same document. And when the review is done, the minutes can be exported into PDF and sent for signing directly with our e-signature solution through Adobe. And the next and last step is also the most important one. If you can press to the fourth step, great, thank you. So this is to track tasks and follow up items. As Decisions is so deeply integrated into the Microsoft Sphere and Microsoft Office 365, you can easily follow up meeting action points in Microsoft Planner or in Microsoft Excel. And that way you never lose track of tasks or what everyone's responsibilities are from this meeting and for the next. And this is a fun fact for you, because this is actually why this solution is called Decisions. It is to increase meeting engagement, preparation, and help councils progress with what's really important, which is the actual decision-making and taking the next steps. So moving on to the next slide, I just wanted to quickly mention that Decisions also come in a mobile app. And from here, you can see the upcoming meeting agendas, attachments, and prepare for the meetings while taking notes, no matter where you are. And you can also do live votes with this app while in a meeting. So that means that you can do it on your tablet or your mobile app, on your phone, or you can do it on your computer in your Teams meeting. So now I believe it's about time to show you how all of this looks and works live in Teams with decisions. So I'll just hand it over to you now, Peter. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Mar. Really interesting to walk through some of those key benefits there. And I know Peter's going to share his screen and run through that as well. But we do know how it can be such a pain to merge all those supporting papers into a single PDF, something that we know Decisions does at a single click of a button. And then also the use that the councillors have in terms of interacting with it. And the app we know is fantastic, works on any device and really simple to use. So Peter, are you there, please, to do your demonstration?
Yep, I was just working out how to share the screen there, but
fantastic. We're all learning. Well, thanks very much, Maya. Yeah, Peter, over to you. Thanks.
Brilliant. No, cheers, David. I think Maya really hit the nail on the head in a few different elements there. One of those elements being the fact that there's different ways to do one thing, right? So what I'm going to do is highlight the most popular ways to use decisions. Really show you how we bring these elements of 365 together, right, to make it easier to prepare, to run, and then follow up for meetings, as Mia's just showed you there. So before we start, I think just two things. First of all, I'd encourage you guys to look at this from a user's perspective as well. So not just necessarily clerks and councillors who probably make up the majority of today's call, but also officers too. How will people receive this information, right? So what decisions does the app help them make? What do they need to be part of? What do they not need to be part of? How does this change the way they access information? And the second part, don't get too caught up in our language. So we refer to things as meeting minutes and as a meeting book. You might have your own terminology, so don't let that put you off. So I'll show you the most popular ways. And if I touch on a part of Office 365 you're maybe not familiar with, don't worry. We'll get to it another day. So if I go ahead and show you, I'm going to show you in 3 different parts. So can everyone see that clearly? Is that good? I'm going to show you in 3 different parts, really. So before, during, and after. So if we go in here, I'm going to go into Outlook, and I'm just going to create a placeholder. I'm just going to call it council meeting example. I'm going to make this a Teams meeting. I'm not going to make it more complicated than that for the time being. So this will now be in my Teams calendar as well. So if I go across to Teams, it should load up in my calendar. Sometimes it just takes a little minute. Bear with me. Always takes slightly longer in a demo, but it should be there now. We should have council meetings example. Good. So Maya already said about the decisions D, which will pop up on the left once you have decisions. We go in there and we are now essentially in the decisions app. It lives within Teams. So here we can see all upcoming meetings I have in my diary, but also past meetings. So very easy to refer back to previous agendas that we've had. So if I go down here, these are all the meetings I have today the 29th. If I go here, we have council meeting example. And I'm just going to click here and I'm going to add an agenda because I'm going to start preparing for this meeting now. So this is us selecting our storage location. So really, this will be linked to a particular team on Microsoft Teams. In an ideal world, you'd have one team per group that meets regularly. And it should make it super easy for them to receive the agenda, but also for everyone to refer back in the future or to find information. So we do have OneDrive as well for more ad hoc meetings, but for now, I'm going to show you on Teams. So in this demo team I have, there's no special channels or anything like that, keeping it simple. So there's 2 ways to make an agenda. We can make it from scratch, which I'm going to do initially to show you how we would put it together. But then we also have the ability to save templates and select templates. So for now, I'll show you how we would go about making this from scratch. So this 1 here indicates that this is agenda item number 1. So we're going to set a time for it. How long do we want the first agenda item to take? We're going to put a title. This is just an intro. Everyone join, cameras on. For example, you can put a description here. Loads of different formatting options, which we won't get into now, but so you can get it looking exactly how you want. Files. We may want to upload a file here. So in this case, I'm just going to pop in this PDF. Or we might want this to be, rather than the copy, like an Excel copy, we might want this to be a link to SharePoint. So we can go in here and actually start browsing SharePoint and add a link to a file that may change between us making the agenda and the meeting taking place. So maybe we want those updates. So we've got the 2 different options. You'll see here it says hashtag intro. So there's a hashtag system similar to social media, purely for referring back to agenda items. So I'll touch on that in a little bit later, but if you're running particular projects, for example, it can be a good way to search back for any agenda item where you discuss that particular project without searching for that entire agenda. I'll show you that just in a little minute. Also, what's the point here, right? What's the type of agenda item? Is this for decision? Is this for discussion? Or is this for information? So right off the bat, we're already thinking, what are we aiming for here? And the time and the time tracker that Mia showed you earlier is really helpful. Okay, we've only got 10 minutes left. We still need to come to a decision here. We need to get the ball rolling, for example. So we can search that there. Now, before I show you the template, there's one other thing I'll just show you quickly, which is guest presenter, right? So really we can add someone to this particular agenda item and they can be a contributor or a presenter. So I don't have many people in this fictional group that I made, but this is one of my colleagues. So I'm going to add him in. I'm going to apply that. He is now down as a presenter. So the cool thing is here, instead of Martin being invited to the entire meeting, which in some of your guys' cases, that could be, you know, hours and hours on end, maybe Martin's only should be responsible for a certain part of that. He will receive, in this case, a 5-minute placeholder at 7:30 in the evening. So he only gets invited and information on this particular agenda item. So loads of different use cases there. I don't get invited to senior management meetings. I'm not important enough, apparently, but I had to go one time to present something from the UK. So they had their meeting that lasted for hours. I received a 15-minute placeholder. I didn't see any other information from their meeting. I just had ownership of one 15-minute time slot, and I was invited only to that, just to give you an idea of how it might be from a user and an officer's point of view. So that's how we would go about building the agenda. And obviously, if I'm happy with this part, I would save it and I would go on to the next one. For now, I'm just going to show you one that I created earlier, a little Blue Peter number, and we're going to just see a template on here. So I'm going to delete this. And if I just go back into it again, all meetings, council meeting example, save it to the same team. And this time I'm just going to show you with a template. So I've made this very basic example, council example here, I've called it. And as you can see how this might start to build up. So we've got a few different agenda items. If I click on here, it shows you the topics we're going to discuss. And this one here is about a fictional new Riverside development. So here I've got hashtag Project Riverside. So in the future, I can search for that hashtag and it's going to bring up every time we discuss this Riverside development. Also, a few things it will help keep you right. Maya's already touched on the engagement score, which can give you some tips on how to run and prepare great meetings. But here we get a little indicator. This is 30. Exceeds the meeting end time. So if you'll remember, the placeholder was only 30 minutes long. So it's just indicating that I'm going to go a little bit over here. So let's also, for now, let's say we want to upload a couple of files here. We can play around. We can add some new things in before we send that out to our future attendees. Now, there's a couple of things to mention before we do that. these 3 lines up the top allow you to do various different things. One of those would be to open the meeting folder. So as we've mentioned, all of this stuff is going to be shared, stored on SharePoint. So we've got documents, we've got meetings, and then we've got this particular meeting. For every agenda item, we also have a folder. I just wanted to highlight that for anyone that's familiar with SharePoint and was curious how that might look, but I'm not going to go into that too much now. Other things we can do from these 3 lines would be create the meeting book, right? So the meeting book, sometimes called a meeting pack or a board book, a board pack, obviously the information you're wanting to send out in advance of the meeting actually taking place. So I'm going to open that again because it's not quite worked how I wanted it to, obviously being on a demo. If I just click here, I need to delete one. No, here we go. So the decisions meeting document manager has opened up on the right hand side. We'll tell you more later about how to get that. But now we have all the agenda on the right hand side, and we can just select or deselect what we want to be included in that board pack. I'm going to choose to include everything. I'm going to include the agenda item summary page and a description. So this is actually going to merge everything over onto Word. And as Maya said, number 1, it's hopefully going to save somebody a lot of time. But more than that, it's going to also create this standard, uniform meeting book. It doesn't matter who makes it. It doesn't matter what meeting you have. But throughout the council now, regardless who's present or absent, this is going to be standard, uniform, repeatable, scalable. That's what we always hear back about this. Yes, it's time saving, but it's repeatable, it's scalable. So, okay, that's how long it takes to create it. No time at all. What was that? Maybe 30 seconds. Now, if I click on it, everyone will receive this. So we can get your insignia up the top. We can have your branding if you choose to do so, your council insignia. Here we have the agenda. So what's going to be included? We can have a little flip through that. We can go down further, and this will actually give us a table of contents, and it will show us what page numbers things are on. If we go down further, these are actually links. So if I click on this, which I'm not going to do because I think this is my personal documents, but if I click on that, that's going to take us right to that file. So there's no flicking through files. There's no trying to find it in an email. Everything they will need is on here. So I just thought I'd highlight that. Now, conscious of time, I'm going to keep flying through this, and I'm going to get to the actual meeting itself. So there's various other things we can do, managing co-authors if you want to get some help, managing access if you want to restrict some people's access or grant other people additional access. But for now, we're just going to notify attendees. So I'm going to do this through Teams rather than email, and I'm going to select this suggest button. So they will receive the agenda. They will also have a button to suggest an agenda item. That will look exactly how my view looked when I was creating this intro. They'll be able to suggest times for this agenda item, what is it, and a description. That will come to you as the organizer. You can then choose to accept that, add it to the meeting. You can deny that, give them a reason why, or you can accept it for another date. You can then keep that within SharePoint and bring it out for another meeting where it's going to be more relevant. So I'm not going to bother notifying anyone, or my colleague's going to get sick of me for keeping on sending through these dummy agendas. But what I am going to do is move on now to during the meeting and what we can do for you guys when you're actually on the call. So not too much functionality here. I think it was Mia earlier who touched on the fact that everything we do is designed to make your meetings more efficient. So what we want here is more people concentrating on the screen, taking part, contributing, not us complicated things by bringing in various different features. So there's a couple of things I'll highlight, right? First of all, Mia mentioned the D and viewing the agenda in call, which is brilliant. I've got this here, which is maybe slightly bigger, so it might give you a better view here. But as you can see, the final part of the meeting here, we have allocated 10 minutes to. So this is going to be a blue dot moving between 4 and 5. It's going to take 10 minutes. When it has 1 minute left, this is going to turn orange. If you turn the time tracker on, there would be lots of smiling faces here if this had been a real meeting. And then 1 minute before the end, time left, 60 seconds to go. This is the part we're on. So, okay, again, it's the people maybe not very confident to say to their boss, for example, hey, you're taking too long, but we do that for you automatically. So that's how that looks. I just thought I'd give you a little bit more visibility on that. Now, there's a couple more things we can do. Again, looking to make this easier and a more efficient time of your day, not more confusing. It would be taking notes. Again, Mia touched on a couple of different ways we can take notes, but we can also use the minutes within Microsoft Word. So a few different ways to do this, but for now, the most popular way, I'm going to show you this. Very similar to the way that we created the meeting book. This is going to open up inside Word, and I'm going to have the chance to merge any different part of this into the minutes. So what do I want to be in the minutes? Here, I can have the agenda item description. I can have any notes I took, any decisions we made, and any tasks that I set. And I'm just going to show you how to do all these right now. So notes would be here. You open this up, it's going to open up Notebook, and we will already have given you a tab and different sections for the different agenda items on that call. So you don't need to go in there and then set that up. We do that for you super easy. That's just going to load up in 1 second. And it just takes away a couple of moments of that manual process. Here we go. This is the meeting, and these are the different agenda items for me to take my notes in. Anyone that's familiar with Notebook, it's pretty straightforward. Another thing I'll show you is making decisions, right? So whether that's a voted decision or whether that's just a decision that's been made through conversation, this is how we would do it. We would go here and we would click New Decision. Maya already showed you how a proposed decision for vote looks when you're voting on it. This is how we would set it up. We could just say proposed decision here. Description. I'm going to put that in here. When it's time to start the vote, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to press Start Vote. Everyone is now going to have the ability to vote on this. I'm not going to do that right now. If this was not for vote and we just want to log a decision, something that's been decided by the group, again, title, decision, save. This is then going to be accessible from this button up here. So as you can see, this demo team have historically made 4 different decisions. We can view in Excel, but it's much more interactive to view it inside Teams. So again, these are obviously all dummy decisions, but we can view here, we can click here to go back to that full agenda and that particular agenda item as a way to refer back. So no more having to decide what did we discuss last time, it's all just logged there. And similarly, tasks. So we would set a task, we actually have our own button for a task. The idea is you set more tasks. What's the name? What's the description? We would set a particular date we want this to be completed by. Who are we assigning this to? If I can open it up. And then where do we want this to be stored? So all of this is going to be stored in Excel if you wish, but ideally on Microsoft Planner. So here, Decisions wants to create a bucket in Planner. I'll show you what that means in just a second for every meeting. That might not be the way you want to do it. You may want to set up particular buckets within Planner just as a way of organizing, and then you would add it. But what does that look like, especially for anyone out there that doesn't use Planner? I'll be talking in foreign language up to this point. So this is what it looks like. On the left-hand side here, we'll have all our different teams that we are part of. We select that team, and then these are what I was referring to as buckets. So as you can see, the first 3 are just generic meeting names that Decisions created. So in this one, completed task, everything done, completed task, cool. This one, we still have something to do here. This one was supposed to be completed by the 3rd of December last year, obviously not doing very well. Let's go in and see what's happened. It's not even started. How am I going to manage my group based on the information I can see? However, if you want to set up different projects, super easy to do. You just create them within Planner, and then that will be an option if you want to send a task to there. So again, we're now getting into Planner. Some of you will be familiar, some of you won't be, but that's the way that we link up Planner, and that's the way we really give you this holistic view and almost a project management tool, I guess, of how are these tasks progressing, what needs to be done before you guys meet again. So hopefully all the time in your next meeting can be spent, being as efficient as possible, rather than trying to work out what happened last meeting. So just to summarize, a few different ways that we can refer back once the meeting's over. So we can go here to the decisions button to see all the decisions. We can go here onto Planner to check up on all the tasks, seeing how they're progressing. We can obviously have our minutes if we've made our full minutes. In councils, I'd imagine that'd be probably the most common way to refer back. We can also go here to the D. If I go to this particular team, for example, let's see all past meetings, I can refer to it here. Or you can go in the actual SharePoint folders and find the folders themselves if you're comfortable with SharePoint. So we've got all those other options come before going back through your Outlook and trying to find placeholders and piecing together information. So that is probably the time I'm allowed, the time I've been allocated. I'm not sure I can do it much faster. If anything there was a little bit too quick and we've gone over anything too much, you want more information, we are available and we can do a bit of a deeper dive another day. But that's the headlines of decisions, and that's really how we look to bring Office 365 together to make it more efficient and easy before, during and after, essentially.
Brilliant, Peter. Thanks ever so much. And, we only wanted to do a short session today just to give people a bit of a glimpse about the power of the product. But obviously, if you did want a more personalised demonstration, we can ask questions and really get under the skin of the product, then Peter, myself and our colleagues are here to answer any questions you've got. But we really do love the product. We think it does save clerks and officers so much time, makes it so much easier for the councillors to engage. And obviously it's fully integrated into 365. It's serverless. It works with Planner, OneNote, Word, all things that, clerks are using all the time and certainly can be very familiar with as we're working the modern workplace where we are today. So we have got some special offers and some great next steps for people who want to find out more. And I know Maya's going to go through that. So Peter, thanks for that demonstration. We'll just go through with yourself then, Maya. There we go.
Yeah, thank you, David. So I just really quickly wanted to summarize what we talked about and show you today. So what decisions do is that it allows you to use and utilize the existing Office 365 technology, as David just said, that your councillors and officers are already familiar with and use on an everyday basis. And decisions also allow you to build, update, rearrange, and share and distribute your agenda pack, including agenda items, attached documents, and your supporting papers in a PDF called the meeting book in advance of the meeting to engage and encourage in meeting preparation and participation, which is also measured by and through the meeting engagement score, which is a unique algorithm that Decisions has. Decisions also ensure effective hybrid meetings with secure meetings, which is a key thing. That's, as we've seen, speaker lists and voting. If you can proceed, we are really excited to share with you today a special promotion for all attendees of this webinar. It is a 30-day completely cost-free trial of Decisions. So just follow this QR code, which takes you to download our app in the Team Store. The only thing that you need is the app needs to be approved by your IT administrator, and after that, it's ready to use. If you go to the next one as well, we have created a special council package for those who want to start using Decisions as well. We've divided them in small council pack and a large council pack. So the small one consists of 1 to 25 users. It's £1,000 a year, and the large council pack is £2,000 a year. If there are some larger councils with more than 50 users, please reach out to Cloudy and we will look into how we can best accommodate your needs. But both of these packs include Vote Now for free, one custom template that someone at Decisions will help you make, and 2 hours of training as well. So the important thing is that you need to commit by the latest on the 30th of June. So to summarize all of this, you get to try the solution cost-free for a month, and then you still have some time to decide whether you want to move forward with Decisions or not. So thank you. That's everything.
It's certainly a very good deal, and it's really great to be able to launch this with Decisions here for councils in the UK. And this is the second event we put on with yourselves, Maya. We did an event last year as well, which was really well received, and We know it's a gradual process to get on board with these systems. It doesn't happen overnight. But if you are using Microsoft 365 and you want to get the most from it, this is a great product to do that. And obviously Cloudy can assist with that as well. But certainly great value for money. And I would encourage councils to look into that and give it a go. Great. Well, thanks very much, guys, for that. If there's any questions, I can't see any come up in the comments at the moment, so it doesn't appear to have any questions. So hopefully it was such a good demonstration. You covered everything. You seemed to answer all the questions people did have. But as we did say, we are here to do private demonstrations or help you and assist with the deployment to ensure you get the most from it. So please do get in touch. But obviously, Peter, Maya, thanks ever so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love the great work we're already doing with councils here in England and Wales, and we're going to continue this great work. Thanks ever so much, and speak to you soon.
Yeah,
likewise.
Thanks so much for having us. Thank you.
So obviously this was our second event of the year. We've had a very busy event scheduled so far at the Practitioners Conference. We had our 365 modernisation session just last week. Today, obviously about building agenda packs. Next week, we've got the Community Engagement Summit at the SLCC. And then we have a number of other events as well, where we're talking about all key different technologies, such as broadcasting, hybrid meetings in the workplace. So please do come along to one of our events and hear more, not just from myself or partners and vendors like Maya and the team, but also from our clerks who've been using 365 successfully and can really give you some great examples of how to fully modernise your council and get the most from it. And all our events are on our website for you to view. So all of the events we've done throughout the last 12 months, you can go to our website and have a look and find something that's really useful for yourselves. But obviously, thanks very much for coming along. We really do appreciate it. If anyone has any comments or feedback, please do use the QR code there to give us some feedback on the event. We're always looking to see how we can improve things and make them more engaging for yourselves. But otherwise, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it and look forward to speaking to you soon.
Our focus at Decisions is sort of taking what Microsoft has already built, what you already have access to from your subscriptions to Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365, and extend those and get them to integrate a bit better for the purposes of organizing meetings.
Hello, my name is Kelly Holland. I am a parish clerk to a small parish council in Essex. I've been a clerk now for 13 years. We have an electorate of just over 1,100, 9 councillors, and at present we have a precept of just over £46,000. Modernising the council was something that was really quite important to me. I'm very much someone who likes to be organised, everything in its own little place. So it was important that I could do that with my council, who aren't necessarily as susceptible to change as I would like them to be. But the main reason for that was to try and streamline my work, give myself more time to actually spend on the projects that needed more time on, and reduce that time commitment on the kind of day-to-day aspect of the job. The decision software showed me a completely new way of working that would address my issues and my challenges in relation to time. Creating the agendas and the paperwork and everything it's creating a huge time commitment for me that I knew needed addressing, but I didn't know what the solution was. So actually seeing this in action, how decisions would work and how it would actually create that agenda pack for me. I've been doing it personally myself in a more a longer way around, which I've done through Word and also from screenshotting PDFs and trying to fit them in and trying to make sure that they're accessible as well. And it has been a huge drain on my time. So the actual decision software showed that the time spent creating the agendas and the associated packs could be dramatically decreased for me. And there was this software package that did it for me. So to me, that was me. I was kind of sold on it just from that perspective. But in addition, it also gave you the opportunity to create a draft template for your minutes, where it just carried the information from the agenda over to the minutes document. So it was your minutes are almost half written before you even go to write your minutes, which I really liked the idea of. And also the decisions made within the meeting could then be put into Microsoft Planner. as well, which I currently do that in a different system. So everything, all these steps that I do myself, one particular piece of software could do for me, which I thought was really, really helpful. So that's the main things that sold me on it.